All right, good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Porter County Perspective. This is your host, WDSO's Olivia Calloway, and this week we have the privilege of having Mari Patis in our studios. Mari is the programs coordinator for the Shirley Heinze Land Trust. Thank you for being with here today. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself to our listeners and about your background?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me here. So as said before, I'm the programs coordinator for Shirley Heinze Land Trust, and I actually grew up in the Seattle area and went to school for biology and ecology out there. And when I moved out here, I just kind of fell in love with the dunes and the beach and all the other natural habitats that we have here. And so it just kind of makes sense that I'm with Shirley Heinze now and able to share my love of nature with other people.
I see. So before we go more in depth, can you tell us a little bit about what the Shirley Heinze Land Trust is?
Yeah, for sure. So we are a locally based nonprofit that protects and preserves land and water all across northwestern Indiana. And then my role as programs coordinator is to help engage and connect communities, with our properties.
I see. So can you tell us a little bit about who the land trust was named for?
Yeah, so Shirley Heinze herself was actually studied psychology and had a doctorate in it, and practiced therapy with children, and but also ended up living in Ogden Dunes and spent a lot of time out in nature, and just kind of shared her love of conservation with everyone around her.
So what is some of the history of the Heinze Land Trust?
Unfortunately, Dr. Shirley Heinze passed away at a young age, and so her friends created this endowment fund, and we were originally called the Shirley Heinze Environmental Fund, and we were founded in 1981, and we started off as a little volunteer-run organization, and eventually became the Shirley Heinze Land Trust, became an official nonprofit. We've moved offices, and we're now based at Meadowbrook Nature Preserve. That's just a short drive from Chesterton High School, actually. And since 1981, we've grown to, protect many preserves and now have hiking trails and programs and a solid team of staff.
All right. So what are the three main goals of the Shirley Heinze Land Trust, and can you break those down for what they mean to the trust?
Yeah, so we preserve, of course, and so kind of in the name, we are able to acquire land and then keep it protected, for forever. And that way it's not subject to development and things like that. But it's not just about preserving the land. We have to restore it too. So the land we acquire can be in different stages, and maybe it needs some invasive removal. Maybe it needs some prescribed burns. So sometimes these properties need a little TLC to get them back to the way they were, hundreds of years ago. Mm-hmm. And then the engaging part is where we can go out and, do outreach events, do various programs. We host programs every month at our different preserves. And actually just last night we had a after dark mushroom hike, and we're looking for UV reactive fungi, and over 50 people came to that. So there's definitely an interest in the community to come out to these nature-based events.
Oh, I see. So across what counties has the Land Trust preserved land, and do you have an idea of the approximate acreage that it is protected?
For sure. We actually have a 6-county geography now, adding another 2 to our 4 pretty recently, and over 3,000 acres protected so far.
All right. And what type of natural habitats are present within the land that you guys cover?
Almost every kind, and I see some listed here, but, dune and swale, which is a globally rare habitat that is basically a historical timeline of the glacial lake as Lake Michigan was retreating. We have other kinds of wetlands, too. We have, Leidig Bog out in St. Joseph County, which is a true bog with, bog plants and tamaracks and things like that. We have moraine forest, which is where Meadowbrook Nature Preserve is located, and that's also a result of glacial activity and results in some of that more old-growth forest that you see, which, again, with restoration, we're able to maintain. And prairies, too. Crestmore Prairie is one of our most esteemed preserves, I'd say, and kind of August and even this time of year is a great time to visit because there's just so many different types of wildflowers out there.
I see. So, are there any particularly cool species of plants or animals that you think are living in the preserved lands?
I mean, just last night I found some UV reactive millipedes, crawling around Meadowbrook. Some people kind of get grossed out by the bugs, but I think this job has made me have more of an affinity for those smaller creatures. Things like moths that are pollinating at night, things like weevils that are pollinating little specific flowers and things. I've just kind of grown to appreciate the little creatures. But we have all kinds of things. We have, the deer and the possums and the snapping turtles, box turtles, all kinds of animals out here.
All right. So, are the preserves open to the public to explore, and how does one go about visiting your land preserves?
Yeah, most of our nature preserves are open to the public. They're all free entry, typically open dawn till dusk. And this information is online. Some of our locations can be found on Google Maps as well, but you can find trail maps, kind of what's in season when, and more information on the preserves page on our website. All
right. Does the Land Trust ever host guided hikes so those interested can learn more from the land and its species from experts?
Yeah, we host a variety of different types of programs, and sometimes they're led by myself, sometimes they're led by volunteers who have kind of studied up on specific material, and then we also have guest speakers, such as the one that came out last night, who has more of a background in mushrooms, and so we kind of try to offer programs that cater to a wide range of audiences, whether you're interested in botany or just the general history of an area, or you want to learn more about, the wetland ecology.
So what are some of your favorite areas of the Land Trust to visit, and can you tell us a little bit about why?
Honestly, right this time of year, Meadowbrook is really nice. The fall colors are dazzling right now. I love the colors that maple trees turn, that kind of more golden color compared to some other trees. So if you're looking for a nice fall hike, I recommend that.
So for those of our listeners who might want to get involved, are there any volunteer positions or opportunities currently available?
Yes, for sure. We have Meadowbrook Mondays, the first and third Monday of every month, and that is a kind of a drop-in opportunity. You don't need any background in plant identification. You don't need any background in equipment use. We do the training kind of on site and make it easy to access for people. And then in addition to that, we'll host other volunteer opportunities, whether you have a school group or a corporate group. You can inquire about that, working with students. We also have a variety of student experience opportunities where we've hosted high school interns and college students to help us with a variety of program assistance, data collection, water quality monitoring. So plenty of experience for everyone.
Does the Land Trust have an online presence, and where can people go to learn more about that?
Yes, happy to say our social media has been very active, and we post a variety of things, whether you want to know more about our upcoming events. We also try to spruce it up with fun facts about miscellaneous insects or coloring pages or just fun photos. So definitely give us a like on Instagram and Facebook, and check us out there.
How does the Shirley Heinze Land Trust go about acquiring land to preserve?
It's a variety of different ways, a mix of donation and then just us purchasing land if the timing works out. We have different conservation areas where we kind of seek out that high quality habitat, so we can kind of preserve those areas that are, have ecological value. We have a whole land strategy committee that can assess these properties and make those decisions. But this will also be my shout out. If you have property or have passed by somewhere that you're like, wow, that's a really cool looking prairie. If you're ever looking at wildflowers, out the window as I do, let us know. Give us a call. We're always interested in knowing what is around, and if we can acquire it, we work with a lot of partners that can maybe help make sure that not all the land is used up.
All right. What would you say are a few goals that the Land Trust has on the horizon in the near future?
That is a great question. We have just so many. Of course, just acquiring more land. We're kind of in the process of some strategic planning, and so we're trying to go about this in a very strategic way. But, acquiring more land, continuing to preserve, in our mission, it says land and water, and that's to include, like habitat along the east branch of the Little Calumet River, which runs right through Chesterton, and that helps provide, again, not just conservation goals, but water recreation opportunities for paddling and so forth. Increasing our programming and making it easier for people to enjoy the outdoors, and growing our volunteer program too, and letting people know that they can make a difference, in their backyard.
So every year, the Land Trust awards citizens and businesses the Bringing Home Nature Award. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we just wrapped up our season for this year. Applications are typically open from Earth Day until August, and this is our way of recognizing people who have planted native plants in their backyard and have even swapped out some of the non-native or invasive plants and provided habitat through native trees and plants that provide food for pollinators and shelter for birds, and also helps to kind of beautify neighborhoods. I personally would prefer to see a mix of colors rather than a sort of uniform lawn. So there's kind of a multifold effect of this program.
Does the Shirley Heinze Land Trust have any upcoming events or fundraisers you'd like to tell us about?
Yes. So I'm excited to announce our appreciation days that are happening both at Leidig Bog, which is in the South Bend area, taking place Friday, November 3rd from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern time, different time zone out there. And there's a new observation deck that got built earlier this year, which will have some guided hikes too. And then we're going to have a bonfire, some s'mores, other guided hikes, and just fun activity stations so that you can find out more about each of our programs. And then more relevant to this area is the November 4th, Saturday, Meadowbrook Nature Preserve Appreciation Event happening from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. And similar activities, we'll have some guided hikes going throughout the different trails of Meadowbrook. We'll have, again, bonfire and s'mores, and then some hay rides. And so we kind of have a fall harvest theme going on.
So one more time, can you repeat where these are and when the events are located?
Yes. So the first one's going to be at Leidig Bog Nature Preserve, Friday, November 3rd from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the following day on Saturday, November 4th at Meadowbrook Nature Preserve from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the events or about the Shirley Heinze Land Trust before we sign off?
The appreciation events that I mentioned are free, no entry required, and most of our programs are also at no cost, and so we encourage everyone to come out. Our events are, all ages friendly. Bring your dog if they're on a leash, and I'll also give a shout out to our Spring Benefit, which is our annual fundraiser for the year, and that is going to happen May 4th. At the Urshel Pavilion. So more details to come. I only have the date for that, but and like I said before, we have programs every month, and so if you can't make it to some upcoming events, we'll have hikes even throughout the winter. So we hope to see you at a program soon.
All right. That's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of the Porter County Perspective. I'd once again like to thank Mari Patis from the Shirley Heinze Land Trust for joining us today. This has been Olivia Calloway of WDSO, signing off.